I want to talk about in the film is, you know, this culture emerged out of the 20s and 30s and you know.
Why people are drawn to it?
Well, a little bit of that, but you know, there was like, after it had its boom, it died, you know,
Yeah.
and then was basically extinct for a couple of decades until it came back, and when it came back, I mean, there's just this constant cycle of death and resurrection. You know, some clubs will close, but others will open up, and, you know, constantly, you know, there was the boom, and then there was like the end of the boom, you know, and people went away, you
Yeah.
know, and started doing salsa or whatever, but there was a core group. And just talk about the fact that this revival has lasted longer
Than the original swing
yeah,
era.
and what do you think is the future of it?
Yeah.
So if you can.
Yeah. You know, I was teaching class last night to my beginners, and at the end of every 4-week session at my school, I give them an etiquette talk. And I talk to them just about the niceties of getting on and off the floor and how to say yes and how to, if you need to take a rain check, all this kind of stuff. But one of the things I talk to them about is supporting the scene. And with money, going and paying for dances and going to swing dance camps and joyfully saying, here's my money, thank you for doing this. And the reason is, and I tell them this, I said the reason the swing dancing died in the 40s was that people stopped going. They stopped paying for it. That, and it makes a lot of sense too. World War II was over, the soldiers came home, and everybody just wanted to start families, and they stopped going out. So if you stop going out and you stop supporting the environment, it'll die. So I tell them, you know, go out, because you may not realize this, but this little swing dance revival has now lasted longer than the original swing era, at which point they all gasp. But it's absolutely true. And it's because of this this passion, as I said, that the movers and shakers like myself that we have for this, of wanting to keep it going and working so hard to keep it going, that it's stayed alive. But I think the reason we can even do it is because there's a need in our society now for it. And what is that need? Human contact, human interaction, joy, activity. All these things are so necessary when you have people that sit all day going like this. At dinner with their boyfriend. You know, one of the things I really pride myself in is that I don't allow cell phones at my club. And I'm not going to go arrest somebody if they bring it out. But I just say don't bring it out. This is where you have an opportunity to put that all away and have contact with people. And I look around and there's like 200 people and there's not a cell phone out. It's amazing. So people get a respite from all of the negativity that modern culture puts on us. You know, how computers are remapping our brains for short-term memory rather than long-term memory. So I feel like I'm combating all that with what I do, that people get to utilize all their senses again and not just this brain going like that. So I think it's great for our culture right now. Maybe needed more now than it was back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. I never thought of that before, but I think it's true.
That's great. That's definitely a big part of the film, and you kind of said it all really perfectly.
Good.
Can you talk about the fact that this very, very happy, joyful dance and music came out of the Depression? That it was born to sort of counteract
Yeah. Okay.
what was, you know, that, and then again, you know, bring that back around what you got today and how it's necessary today.
Okay. You know, this is the stuff I think about all the time, this stuff about why this dance is here, why swing dancing, tap dancing, all these dances from the 20s, why are they here now? And why were they there then? Why was tap and swing dancing in the 20s and 30s? You know, our country went through a huge depression in the late 20s. That's no new news, but it did. And I remember when I was interviewing people for my book, which is on the history of tap dancing, all those old-time tap dancers said, you know, I never got paid more, I never had bigger success, my school never had more students than during the Depression. And they always say that, like when Shirley Temple came out with the movies, that dance schools were packed. The parents maybe couldn't afford this, that, or the other, but to send their kid to dance class, to have dancing, to go to a dance, these things were important because it brings joy. And joy in economic hard times is critical for mental and emotional survival. Period. End of story. So what do we have now? Same thing. You know, we just have this great recession, I guess it's called now. And people losing jobs right and left, losing homes right and left. But wow, swing dancing is pretty cheap, affordable, fun, and it just fills, you know, 5 or 6 different human needs all in one go. So if you spend $15 to go to a dance and you get love, exercise, happiness, physical contact, friends, all this stuff, all in that one time, that's amazing. You don't have to go to the gym for the exercise, and then to the movies for the entertainment, and then to the dinner for the. You get it all in this one little spot, and you see it on people's faces. They may come in like, oh, I'm so tired. I had the roughest day at work. And they're walking through the door, and I see it night after night. They walk through the door, and their face goes like from this to. It just moves into this huge euphoric, or as I call it, the goofy grin of the swing dancer. Because you hear that music, and it's all happy music. You know, we don't have music about death and destruction on the swing dance scene. It's either about love or food, it seems to be. You know, potato chips, crunchy, crunchy. You know, it's goofy stuff. So all happy, upbeat. And I've had some teenagers come in my classes, and they say the same thing. They say, God, it's such happy music. And, you know, I get it because I've loved it since I was 6, but I love hearing it from a teenager because their onslaught of what happens to them is incredible with music and culture and movies. So when they come into my little swing dance scene, they're like this. Yeah.
That's fantastic.